Yep.
Call the City of Westfield Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order for May 25th, 2017. Staff, please note the presence of a quorum.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the meeting minutes consideration approval for April 26, 2017. Having had opportunity to review those, are there any additions, corrections, or comments?
Don't have any.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the minutes.
I will
April 26th. Wait, is that right?
I will second that motion. So we had a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 1, the minutes of April 26, 2017. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 2, resolution of the Westfield Board of Public Works, quitclaim deeds.
Yeah,
I believe this was going to be presented by Mr. Zeger.
but I do know what it is.
Okay. That makes one of us.
It's been run through once, my understanding, right? It ran through last month. There were some issues with it, with the roundabout quit claims.
Oh, so this is the quick claims associated with the Midland Trail.
Yep.
This is the Midland Trail property right here behind this building. If you all recall, Mr. Raudebush did not want to sell. We had the option here, because we own this side of the property, that we could actually move the trail onto our property, which we did. So we did not obtain any of the property right here that was in question. That was actually listed as the owner was the city of Noblesville, which some in court questioned that. So all we're doing here is taking the land that is the old roadbed of questionable ownership, and within our legal rights, we can quit claim the deed to Raudebush. If he ever wants to sell it, then he has to deal with any of the legal dealings of who really owns the property. Questions?
Sorry, sir. No, just so let the record show Kate Snedeker joined the meeting at 1:05 p.m.
And I have the resolution and the deeds for signature, if they are in fact passed.
So essentially, we're just cleaning up the process.
Yes, we don't need the land. We're not even sure who really owns it. Only it shows we own it, but we'll let other attorneys decide all that, because we don't need it, control it, build on it, nothing.
Okay. Kate, anything?
No.
Any other discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve action item number 2.
Second.
Have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 2, resolution of Westfield Board of Public Works, quitclaim deeds. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 3, 2017 road striping project.
Yeah, so this is a goods and services contract for our annual striping program. Road striping, so center lines and edge lines. This year it's just under $108,889 and 30 cents, which is work throughout the town that will be performed by September.
Compared to last year, we're doing more work, less work.
Last year we did an experiment and did significantly less work to see if we could span 2 years. This is substantially more than what we did last year, but it is more in line with what we did in the prior years.
So we got by a year in some areas pretty well.
So, asking for approval to proceed with street striping, 2017 street striping.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion to approve and seconded on action item number 3, 2017 road striping project. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 4, wastewater treatment plant lagoon closure construction contract.
So a remnant of the sale of the utility was the wastewater lagoons that are located on this site just to the north. They're still classified as wastewater lagoons, so we still have to maintain a discharge permit. To ever be able to do anything with that land or the permit associated with it and the monitoring requirements, we have to do a clean closure, which is removal of all of the contaminated soil and materials that are in the ponds down to a good grade, to a good soil that passes item tests. We've bid that out. Engineer's estimate was just over $3 million. Project came in at 1.4 with a very reputable local provider. So before you today for approval is the cleaning of the 19 acres worth of wastewater lagoons to the north at a price of $1.428 million.
Is there a plan for that land, or is that not to be decided? We just want to clean it up?
Well, we are
In case-
working on deciding that, yeah, there's a couple different options. We haven't pinpointed one specifically yet, but we've contemplated expansion of a park. We've kind of contemplated some regional detention and also just the expansion of our facilities here on site, so.
So as we get it down, remove anything that would be considered hazardous material,
Absolutely.
gone, properly disposed of, down to where you could do.
We can fill them in and build on them. We can let them fill in with water and they can just be ponds. Or we can do a combination of those things.
Okay.
You want to do that yet this year?
This gives a 365-day contract. The bulk of the work will happen in fall, winter time, I think. But yeah, they have 1 year to complete the project. It is a large, significant project that's going to have a lot of traffic in and out of here, which is why we have a 365-day time frame. Plus, the majority of the materials that are in the ponds will be eligible for land application, not dissimilar to what they do out of the wastewater plant. So that ticks and ties with farming, right? So they do that application over the winter time. So those materials that are be dredged and hauled off will go to their site to dry out where they'll land at them at that point. So they got to time all of that out too.
Okay, any other discussion, questions?
We've been working on it a long time.
Far too long.
Make a motion to approve action item number 4.
Second.
Have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 4, wastewater treatment plant lagoon closure construction contract. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, under agreements memorandum of understanding, if I could talk today, action item number 5, Primrose Road Impact Fee Payment Installment Agreement.
No.
What'd I miss?
Purchase of fire truck.
Yeah, I need a new copy. I don't know where we're at.
It's on the
Do you have
board.
the old and new copy?
Okay,
I have one.
sorry.
Sorry, Randy.
So we're at action item number 5.
Okay, action item number 5.
Is now.
Pierce Manufacturing and City of Westfield purchase of a new fire truck.
So it's been just common practice, even though things are approved by council. We all sit down here just to let you know what's happening, what's going on. We purchased under a contract that was already bid by one of the Indianapolis fire departments. So Pike Township Fire Department had already put this out to bid. And so we bought under their contract. And by doing a prepay, we saved $20,000, 21, almost 21,000.
Yeah, 2,536.
So, yeah, $20,536 we saved by doing a prepay. So, we just got this approved, so we'll be signing the contract on this today. It's about a 1-year build time. So, just keeping you informed, let you know what's going on. So we're doing our due diligence by trying to do what we can to save money.
This is an engine
Yes, it is.
to go where?
This is going to replace engine 81, that's station 81. And that current engine is a 2004 model. So, and it's lived up to its life expectancy.
Wow.
Yep. Mike, anything I'm missing? This is Mike Bleck. He's a firefighter with us. He's been with us for quite a while. And he's the one that has chaired this committee to develop the specifications and do all the research and pricing and give us all the information we need to.
Is this what you want, Michael?
Yeah,
What color is it?
it's gonna be red.
I never do.
Good to know.
Well, I saw a Pike truck out there the other
Thank you.
day that looked closer to what it should look like.
What about green?
We talked about doing a green truck with a yellow stripe on it.
And
So for the board's information and for the record, this prepayment, which is customarily we have not done, we're enabled to do so because the ultimate source of funding for this is with the GEO bond that will be presented to the council, which the council has already approved a reimbursement resolution prior to this year. So we're going to use cash on hand to be able to execute payment for this, inclusive of the performance bond with the vendor. So if something goes awry, we have some protection where they can't take our money and run. So it's worth noting on that particular front. And this was included in the council claim docket on Monday. Again, there's already been a resolution passed enabling us to do this. So taking advantage of nearly $21,000 worth of cost savings.
So is this an additional vehicle or a replacement, did you say?
This is a replacement, but at this time will not be getting rid of the current vehicle.
Got it.
The obsolescence strategy with that is usually rotate a frontline apparatus back for reserve and get rid of your oldest piece of equipment. So it's long overdue, quite frankly.
And the total purchase price?
Total purchase price, here you go.
$517,020.
So what's our action? Are we approving the purchase of the truck? Or are we approving?
Just for our information, I believe it is.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't think we needed an action. So.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Now on to action item number 6, Harmony Roundabout liquidated damages agreement.
So Harmony, 146 and Ditch Road North Side, they will be coming through this fall and building a roundabout just north of 146. Private developer, private contractor doing work on a city street, a busy city street at that. So we've got a liquidated damages agreement put together to basically assess damages if they do run over. We're going to allow a 60-day closure, just typical what we do if it was a Westfield project. So it just gives us a little bit more teeth to ensure that they get the road open in time.
Didn't we just talk about this intersection? Or is it the one north of
That was
there?
161 in Spring Mill, perhaps.
Correct.
No, not Spring Mill.
That's what
Yeah.
caused this.
I thought it was Ditch, and just north of Harmony, between Harmony and whatever the next. I thought we talked about them within the last 6 months.
The next major one north is 156.
There will be, as a part of the same agreement that triggers this roundabout, a roundabout at Bridgeport as well.
Yeah.
It's later on in the project based on home lot sales. So there'll be a roundabout, this one, which will go to construction. Another roundabout at Bridgeport, which is terms of the agreement for the approval of their PUD. I think that one's at 350,
353.
353 building permits. That triggers that roundabout. And then the city will likely,
So what did you
Construct
recall?
one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, yeah.
I'm remembering a plot of land on the northwest corner of either that or the one south. And I thought it had to do with a roundabout.
There was a passing blister that came through on town
Maybe
a while
that was
back.
it. Nah. Oh, maybe it was town. Maybe
There's
it
a
wasn't
church on the
ditch.
corner.
Oh, that's right.
We occasionally have issues with contractors abusing their time frame. We just had this incident at 161 in Spring Mill, if you remember, the eastbound 161 was closed. And due to several threats, it opened up right on the day that it was due, and
And then closed again.
Yeah.
It was closed, yeah, it was closed this week.
That's what he's talking about, the full closure on the East
No,
Mountain?
but then it opened, I mean, it opened, and then it was closed again this week.
It was, no, it shouldn't have been. I'm not aware of it.
it could have been traffic control
Yeah,
or limited
yeah.
traffic, but.
The lane was open,
the-
it might have been restricted.
The
a
road
little
was
bit.
open.
Yeah.
that's what this is to give us a
So
little
what,
more.
what us doing this and requiring the 60 days is, what it does is shorten the duration of the project, make sure they get in and out, and then having liquidated damages is our leverage to make sure that they do that with.
They'll be
we-
assessed a fine of $1,000 a day for every day it goes over 60
So we're
days.
essentially handling a private development project similar to what we would do on our own capital projects. For multiple, it's really for the public good to ensure that the road's not strung out and doesn't take a year to complete, like oftentimes.
Very
happens.
typical. Same thing we did at 156 in Spring Mill and 161st in Oak Ridge a few years back, if you recall those full closures.
So this is a little uncharted for us. We've never had a developer build a roundabout for us on a main thoroughfare.
And that developer's Farm Ridge?
That's
JR
JR Farm.
Yep.
Okay,
Which
so
is
it's,
Estridge
Estridge.
and Harmon.
okay.
It's all part of an old development agreement from, I think, 2014 for all of Harmony. This
So-
is just the agreement for liquidated damages.
So that's what we're asking is approval to apply liquidated damages to them as a part of this contract at a rate of $1,000 per day after the 60-day closure. So it takes 65 days, they owe us $5,000.
I'm gonna abstain from voting on this.
Very well.
I'll move to accept this proposal.
I'll second that. So we have a motion to approve action item number 6, Harmony Roundabout Liquidated Damages Agreement, seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 7, Shelby Materials Development Agreement.
All right, it's a two-part agreement. Part one is a passing blister. We're talking about Shelby Materials. They're relocating from Spring Mill, just north of 32, over to Mule Barn Road, just north of the co-op here, highlighted in yellow. As part of City of Westfield standards, they are required to put in what they call a passing blister. So for any left turn movements, you're heading northbound, left turn movements into the facility, if there's a car traveling behind, he can kind of keep up speed and bypass. It's a major safety requirement. So the issue with that is they're having problems acquiring the right-of-way necessary to build that on the east side. So as part of our UDO, our Unified Development Ordinance, the city can step in if necessary to move forward with eminent domain if the developer reaches an impasse with the private property. Developers can't go through condemnation, but we can, so.
Is this a pipeline issue?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Is this a pipeline
Nope.
issue?
No,
Okay.
nope. Just basically a money issue. The private property owner wants more money than what the land is worth, significantly more, and it's substantial.
And it's just a
Go figure.
small,
Small sliver, quarter acre.
pardon?
Just a bubble.
Right,
Yep.
quarter
That-
acre.
Yep, quarter acre.
Okay.
That's part A of this development agreement. Part B is road impact fees. They're assessed a certain fee to develop here. And what they've asked us to do and what we're comfortable with is applying those fees to improve Mule Barn Road from 32 up to their facilities. It's a concrete plant, so there's heavy trucks, so we're gonna widen it out. I think it's 18 or 19 feet now, so we're gonna widen it out, and then mill and resurface to provide a solid roadway from 32 all the way up to the facility.
It's very narrow now, plus you have the fuel trucks going in and out, and it's a pretty heavily traveled road. So essentially just gonna widen it out, use the fees that they would pay us. So as a part of their project, they will hire a contractor and do the work, and we will credit them based on the fees that they were
And
going.
in this case, I think they're actually gonna cut us the check, and we'll contract it out.
Oh,
separately.
really?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
We handle them all differently.
That makes sense for the project.
Yep.
That's exactly what road impact fees are intended.
Yep.
Any discussion, questions?
Move to accept.
Second?
Have a motion to accept, seconded on action item number 7, Shelby Materials Development Agreement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On the consent agenda, does anyone need any explanation or discussion on that?
I think it might be worth mentioning this Primrose Road Impact Fee Agreement. We have not brought these to the board in the past, but per advice from legal that we should likely do that in specific types of commercial development. In this case, it's Primrose, which is a smaller preschool type application. They get assessed a fee based on trip generation. And by state statute and city ordinance, if the dollar amount is over $5,000, they are entitled to be able to make payments over a 5-year period. So just in effort to keep you all informed of the agreements and kind of cover our bases, we've established this payment agreement with Primrose. They get to come in and pay their $5,000 first year's fee to get started on the project, so they get their building permit, and every year for the next 5 years they pay us $11,000 annually to cover the cost of that road impact fee agreement. So put this on the consent agenda item so that you all are aware, and then
Where is it?
on consent, this development?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Is this the one
Bridgewater.
on Bridgewater? Okay, it's in the commercial section.
Got
Ray
it.
Road.
Got it.
But we will have this application on lots of developments.
You'll see a
So
lot of
if you want an action, or you feel there's an action necessary for it, we can make it an action item, but they're legally entitled to these terms. But I did want to have public record of it coming through and being approved. So
Probably appropriate on the consent agenda.
Agree.
Any other discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda, to consent on the consent agenda.
I consent. Second.
Have a motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as written. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to the department reports. First up is fire.
I see your shit.
You gonna make your report?
Sure. Did you get stats?
Nope, they were told they don't need to do them anymore.
Thanks for coming.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So,
How you doing, Jeff?
good. So right now, currently, we have a couple vacancies, and we have selected several candidates. We sent them down for physicals and the psych evaluations with Public Safety Medical down in Indianapolis. So we're waiting for those results. We have started implementing an additional personality type testing with a company called Wonderlic, which helps us evaluate their personality features and how that relates to specific to the jobs. So that, like, somebody with a personality that would fit for a firefighter isn't exactly a good fit for, the mayor. So, so we're taking advantage of that. And it's, Wonderlic is the company that does a lot of testing with the NFL. So that's one of their big clients. So it's been interesting. We've done some of our own people that we already have on staff. So just to see how it works out. And so we're utilizing this testing, and I I think it's going to be a good thing. So hopefully we'll be proceeding with a recruit class beginning in July. I think we'll do a joint academy with probably Noblesville. They're going to be doing some hiring also, so we're going to work together with them as well. Like similar to last year when we worked with Carmel and did a joint academy with them. So we're going to take one. I don't know if you heard or not, but we're going to buy a new fire truck. Those are the big things going on right now. So this is EMS week, so we've been doing lunch for our shifts. Thanks to Chief Rush for letting us borrow their gas grill. President A stopped by there for lunch this afternoon, but guys weren't ready to eat, so he had to take off. But thank you, I appreciate your time. That's what we got going on right now.
Deal. Thank you. Good, sir. Chief Rush?
Where do I start? Canine. We had an application for a new canine officer, which means new dog also. And we had a few people interested in that, and we our next handler will be Dewey Abney. We're kind of in a weird place right now with our canine program because both of our dogs are older, getting ready to retire. Gorky is plus 10 years, which is pretty old for a canine dog, and he's pretty much off the street now. Song doesn't feel comfortable using him as a to bite. Unfortunately, they get that old and it causes damage in their mouth. So for the most part, he's pretty much done right now. And we're reevaluating where we're going with our program and the current handlers that we have. But we didn't know we needed a dog, and we didn't know that we wanted to get a new handler. So we're going forward with putting Dewey on, getting him trained. We're thinking with this next dog that we're going to try something new and just go with what's called a single-purpose dog. It'd be just a drug dog. If you really look at our history of our canine program, we don't do a lot of tracking and biting. We do more PR. We do more drug enforcement with our dogs. So we think there's value in just trying with our next dog just to do a single purpose, and it'll give us a unique opportunity, I think, with the next dog where when we're talking PR, when you're talking going into the schools and doing drug searches around cars, we don't have to worry about the dog necessarily biting somebody, which is huge. And there's other positives to it. The training isn't 12 weeks long, it's 3 weeks long. So there's a lot of value in it. And so we're going to try that with our next dog. And Dewey, in particular, will do an amazing job. He's a real good officer and very mature, and I think that's important to have with the canine handler also.
So Chief, will he be your third handler?
For now, yeah. And looking forward, I mean, we'd love to have 4. We'd love to have a dog on each shift. But we don't know where that's at yet. So that's why I felt comfortable with going ahead and putting Dewey in. Jeff's dog Lopez is also older. He's 9 years old, which he probably has a year or 2 left. So that's why I felt pretty comfortable with putting another dog on. Song has been doing this a long time. Song is very, very good at training, but it's questionable now, the future as far as if he will have another dog or not. We just don't know yet. We're still evaluating that. A couple other things we have going on. We did something really neat last week or 2 weeks ago. We took Coffee to Cop to a different level. We reached out to Sanders Glen as part of one of our goals this year. Were to try to outreach more towards our senior living. So we thought it would be neat to start with Sanders Glen. It was a huge hit. We had over 30 people that obviously they live there. So We had probably 5, 6, 7 officers go through and do Coffee the Cop there, and it was a huge success. We had a great time. They had a great time. So we're going to continue doing that, and that'll offset the. We were doing Coffee the Cop probably every other month, and now I think we're going to do it probably once a month. But every other month we'll be in one of those, whether we'll just bounce around from, because we have a lot of senior living areas now, and we're going to try to capture that group of people. Taylor McCorkle, he's our officer that is at the Law Enforcement Academy right now, and he'll be graduating on or around June 16th. So we'll be going to his graduation and bringing him back to field training after that. So it'd be nice to have him back. Other than that, we have the Special Olympics torch run on June 2nd. Angie's not running this year, evidently. But Aaron Verplank will be running with us, but that's where we'll meet with the other agencies at the Noblesville Square, and we actually start at our high school. We run the torch from our high school down to Noblesville Square, where we meet up with all the other law enforcement agencies within the county. We do a lap around the square there, and then with some of the athletes, and that's a pretty neat deal. So that's on June 2nd. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. Public Works.
Yeah, it's spring obviously is always a very busy time for us. Crew right now is mostly working on crack sealing efforts. It's a good time of year to do it before it gets too hot. As temperature heats up, cracks close, so when you fill them, they don't fill it appropriately. Also working on shoulder repair. One major project we have right now is we are expanding parking lot J at Grand Park. There's an abandoned house there that finally came down about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. So we're expanding parking lot J out. So that's taking up quite a bit of resources getting that done. Other major activity is the resurfacing program that's ongoing right now. Currently we are in Crestview, and then throughout town. That'll go on for the next several weeks as we wrap up our spring resurfacing and hopes of having a fall resurfacing as well. And then the big thing we're doing in parks right now is the construction of the playground at Quaker Park. We had a delay in our turf shipment, so out there we're trying a new product, which is a synthetic turf. Not different, very different from the artificial turf we have out at Grand Park, but this is impact resistant and is considered a safety surface. So, and it comes in blue and orange and all kinds of fun kid colors. So that is wrapping up this week with a grand opening on Friday. So everyone please come out for that. Also on Friday, Angie has coordinated a Donuts and Trucks Day for National Public Works Week. So we will be at Titus Donuts in the morning, handing out donuts to children and not children that want to come and hang out with Public Works people.
You had me at Titus Donuts.
Why didn't White House?
Why what?
White House.
Otherwise, our projects are ongoing from
They
last
didn't want to be a
month.
part of it?
Happy to answer any questions, but 3 significant construction projects plus everything else we offered.
Tomorrow, Jeremy is getting an award, Public Works Director of the Year in
State of
Indiana, the whole state. Not just Westville. He's second best in Westville.
Good.
Anything from Grand Park?
Well, William has to be on the agenda, but I believe he had something come up out there.
We'll have the grand run,
He will be
July 4th. Do that.
grand
I
run.
will be in Cancun, Mexico on July 4th.
I'm sure he will.
Well, everyone else here can run. The morning of July 4th.
Ready?
Okay,
Ready to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Good.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Your signature.
Jeremy, I think you signed a deed.
Yes, they just.
They say April, but I will cross that out and I will notarize
Where's
it.
your White House comment?
I didn't care, I was just doing the file.
Well, I will just leave the date as is and I will sign.
They got reamed over this whole donut trail. You didn't hear about that? They asked the White House donors to participate in their donut trail thing, the Parks Meeting. And they said they didn't know.
Randy, I made a note to make sure you have the agenda. I didn't know he didn't.
I didn't know he didn't.
Well, that's probably right.
But the citizens started.
And then we'll get paid next year.
You're taking, are you taking care of that one, getting it signed?
Why wouldn't you include our local donut shop?
They're the.
That's why I thought you asked.
No.
Stop that.
Yeah, why are you trying
Randy,
to?
do you-
Mayor, you got stuff to
I want
sign.
Trucks
Me on 32 where the most got it.
Yeah.
Angela, don't let him
Do
leave.
you keep these in your records
Mayor.
or do you take this with me?
You got stuff to
Okay,
sign.
all right.
Does he have something else to sign? You told me to stop him.
Wait, did you hear it, Tim?
What about,
I got an appointment upstairs, I gotta get going.
Right.
I guess we'll catch you if there's anything else. Okay.
Oh, Travis, because I'm sure they had kids.
Yeah, just catch him anyway.
Chairman, we
Send it
gotta
back out here.
break out for Grand Junction.
Right now?
Yeah, Williams Creek, unless you're busy. See you too.
Yeah, let's do it. I
Bye, birthday
need
boy.
to sign other stuff.
Up here's
Nope,
fire
if you
truck.
signed those three, that is perfect.
I guess
I'll
this
note
is
them
just
back down,
Jeremy,
them
so I guess Jeremy
taken
can
care
do
of.
it.
Thank you.
Director of Public Works.
Hey, when's the Grand Park Ave parking lot gonna be done? I'm out there all the time, the big carpool like.
Steve Ward.
Oh, yeah? Well, we ran into,